You're listening to the Gameday Tarps podcast with your hosts, Ryley, Dakota, Dallas, Daeden, Colton, and Wilbs.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gameday Tarps podcast. This is episode 61. It's a round 2 coverage right now. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers are currently playing. And, I'm going to get into it a little bit later. What the hell was Stuart Skinner doing the other night? We'll cover that. Connor Hellebuck, he can't save a puck. And the Leafs, they're now tied up in their series 2-2. We'll get into all of that here in a little bit. But first, let's start off.
It's business fault, just saying. But continue on.
Yeah. Let's start right there with the Leafs and the Panthers. They're tied 2-2. What went wrong? The Leafs were going smooth sailing.
Austin Matthews has turned into Philip Danault. That's what's wrong. So
No,
Stop scoring.
no, Philip Danault is. Yeah, that's correct. He's shutdown guy.
No, but I'm going to say Biz is an idiot. Biz went on his live stream after the Leafs went up 2-0, and he said the Panthers are cooked. They're not a good team. And then he called out Brad Marchand, and he's like, Brad, where were you, buddy? Didn't see you out there. What, Brad scored 2 goals the next game? Like,
I think
go,
it's the
Biz.
overtime winner, wasn't it?
Man,
But
either way, he won the game for them. So it's like,
Yeah.
way to go, Biz. Way to wake up the sleeping giant.
But like,
I wouldn't
after
call him a
they
giant.
steamrolled. Well, okay, the way that they beat Tampa, like Tampa was a bunch of children.
Buddy,
I'm
Tampa's
talking
light
about-
work,
talking about
buddy.
Brad.
That's what
Tampa's
I'm saying.
light work.
They were light work. They made Tampa light work, so it looked like Toronto was in trouble, and then Toronto came out 2-0, and then Biz was like, "Wait, we're gonna beat you." Yeah, way to go, Biz. Reverse swept right here.
yeah.
No,
Well-
man, I think Florida's just feeling out, the competition. And you need to put that shirt down. Use it as toilet paper, buddy.
Rude.
Is really in any rush to, sweep Toronto. They're probably just feeling them out. And they're going to win the series.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, if 16 and 34 don't fucking show up, yeah. Like,
Okay, Marner's
they
playing
don't.
fantastic.
They don't every year, boss.
Except
No.
Marner
Leave-
didn't
Leave
do-
Marner out of this, and Nylander. They are playing fantastic, and Tavares
Marner-
too. It's really just Matthews who's not
Marner
scoring,
was
but he's
the
still
best,
putting up
though,
points.
last night. That's the problem.
Okay, one bad game, he dominated versus Ottawa. Him and Tavares.
Yeah, but it's like this series though. It's like he's invisible. Like,
Didn't he get like
I don't
3
know.
points last game? Okay, they got shut out. Sorry, the game before. Hold up.
but
he
like,
got
why
4
is
points that
Matthews
game.
not scoring? Like it's like Jay Rosehill and other like Leafs people are pointing out. Like, he's obviously injured. Like, he's
Or
not shooting the puck.
Bobrovsky's still elite, bro.
I mean, Marner
Yeah,
had
but
2 points.
yeah.
Matthews had 2 points.
Yes.
Nylander had 2 points. You know who's actually carrying this team is Matthew Nyes. Matthew
Nylander.
Nyes is having
Well, and
himself
yes,
in the playoffs.
yes. So do you extend Matthew Nyes or do you extend Mitch Marner? Like, the answer's pretty simple. It's going to be Nyes. Like,
Do you sign Marner and trade him to get assets and then sign Nyes? You know what I mean? Like, because those say you can give him the extra 8th year on his contract and then trade him to a team of his choice.
if they do a sign and trade, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know how the
I mean,
parameters
it
work around
it
that.
is tree living though, so he did do it in Calgary.
He did.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did that with Kachuk, and then obviously then paid Huberto out the fucking ass. So maybe.
Yeah,
I
he
don't know.
loves giving guys over $10 million.
So here's a crazy hypothetical for you that's not going to happen at all. But what if they traded Marner to the Islanders on a full contract for the first overall pick?
Marner to the Islanders.
Yeah,
For the
I
first
mean,
overall pick.
only the first
Toronto-
overall pick, though.
But Toronto doesn't need the first overall pick, so that's why I'm saying it's like a hypothetical. Like, I don't think Toronto would want the first overall pick. Like,
But
they'd
they
probably
also
want it
have
as
like
low or
no
something.
real prospects.
That's true. That's true. So they could bring in Matthew Schaefer or bring in like a Michael Misa immediately.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
overall pick is playing on their team next year.
100%.
And then you could trade Cowan for another roster player, and then there you have.
I don't know if they would.
Well, who knows?
But they
Yeah,
but you
but
could
hey,
force
you said that about Minton, and look,
Yeah.
I know.
Now he's a
And-
Bruin.
and you
And
said
he
that
went to
about
a rival.
and you said that about
Hey.
Stankoven, and
Hey.
he's on Carolina
Who-
now.
I know. I was told that he was untouchable. Okay. We can blame the guy when he comes on the show. I'll talk to him. But honestly, like I don't know. Like I might actually pitch this in my like work group chat now. Like, does that make sense at all or no? Like
Yeah, I think
trading
so.
Marner for first overall.
And either they flip it for a young player that's already good, or here's my thought: do you go
Because-
Marner for Dobson and like Cal Ritchie? Like, you know
But
what
do
I
they
mean?
need Dobson?
Who doesn't need Dobson?
Yeah, I guess
they
they
need-
do. Though. That's kind
Do
of a
they
dumb
need
question.
Richie?
Yeah, not if they have
Well,
Cowan.
but they lost Minton, right? Ritchie can play center.
But what's Nick
Cowan's-
Robertson going to do?
Nick
Like, he
Robertson can go to Seattle, or he can go to San
Well,
Jose.
he's probably he's going to have to leave.
Send him to
because there's
Dallas or
no
something.
spot
Send
for
him to play with his brother in Dallas.
Yeah, he might sign
That's
with
all right,
Dallas.
yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, he's
There's no way he
at best
resigns.
13 forward, and his best spot on the roster is like forward 8. He's hampered by his size. He can't play above it.
Yeah. There's other guys,
Like-
I guess, on Toronto you'd rather play, like David Camp and stuff. Like you'd rather play bigger body guys, and Bobby McMahon, obviously too. Like
Yeah, he's
Makes
been
sense.
a ghost. Talk about a ghost. Bobby McMahon has been a ghost.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing about Bobby McMahon. He came into the league, scored a hat trick in his first game, and then was expected to be this like point producer.
yeah,
But everyone
Matthews
forgets.
2.0.
Everyone forgets that he came from the AHL on a call up, and he's just a regular bottom 6 guy.
Yeah,
So if I'm not wrong, he was in Arizona first, wasn't he?
I don't
Or
know.
didn't know?
I knew
I don't
nothing
No,
about him.
maybe not.
He came from
Okay.
the Marlies.
Oh, okay. I just thought he was an Arizona like prospect for some reason. But anyways, trade that.
Either
first
way, he's still a
overall pick
bottom
and
6 guy.
Marner. Yeah, 100%. So is
Yeah, I think.
so is
I mean,
Phil Danault.
the question is, with whoever the Islanders general manager is he wanting to make that roster his own roster, and is he going to trade Barzal? Is he going to trade Dobson? Is he going to move out? You know, they were the oldest
Just
roster in the NHL for like the 5th year in a row.
Dude, what if
Like,
Marner
I'm just
goes to
gonna-
Montreal for like their what do they have? 4th, 5th?
I know
No,
Dave's
we don't
shaking
have-
his head, but like
Montreal doesn't have
you have
a.
10th. You have 10th, right, or 13th from Calgary.
Montreal has like
No.
16th or something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
their own pick is top 10.
No, because they
Or
made
no,
playoffs.
they made playoffs. Never mind.
Yeah, their
No.
own pick is 16th.
Don't listen to me.
but the trade, like I don't know, he's gonna go somewhere. And I was just gonna read something off because Pierre LeBrun talked about it, I guess. But like Bergevin, Kekalainen, and Matthew Darche are all being interviewed for Islanders GM. So like Bergevin's obviously a guy who not afraid to make moves. Kekalainen's done stuff with Columbus before. I don't know
I
much
would
about
rather
Matthew
Lou
Darche.
Lamoriello than Mark Bergevin. Just saying. I'm sorry to Mark Bergevin, but
Mark
Lou
Bergevin
Lamoriello.
makes some pretty questionable moves.
So you think Bergevin would do that? He'd trade the first overall pick for Marner and like
No, I think that he would want to go full rebuild, but I think that he would fuck it up. And he would not get the proper returns. Like, if you're not getting a first and a top prospect for Barzal, it's a failure. And it better be a top 10 first, not just 28th overall.
We're talking about the guy who caught a puck and decided to fucking toss it top cheese and say, "Yep, on his own net." So
I'll never
know.
forget that.
I don't know. I think that there are some pretty good assistant GMs out there that should be getting looks over
Yeah, of course.
a guy who literally gave
Okay.
Montreal their deepest pit of despair in the recent memory.
While we're on the topic of GMs, let's just park time to talk about Ken Holland going in LA then, because like I don't know. Does it make sense that Ken Holland's still around? I think so. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
People are kind of eye rolling
did
that he's going to
things.
LA. So
He did things. They weren't always good. Some
I don't
things
think
weren't
he was.
terrible.
He did well in Edmonton, but I think the only problem that he had with Edmonton was just like the size of the contracts he gave out. Like he brought in kind of the right pieces, but just the
Well, he did the
contract.
Hall trade. He did the Hall trade in that. I know that looking at their cap now, they couldn't afford Hall anyways, but Hall for Larson to this day was
he
one of the
GM then?
worst. Yeah, he was the GM that did that.
And then Larson was an own goal scoring machine.
And then he just
Him and
left
Patrick
for
Laine.
Seattle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it better than Rob Blake?
Yes. Anything is better than Rob Blake, I think. I don't know, he was like a 200 batting average as a general manager.
Ken Holland took over the Oilers in 2019, so I don't think that was when the Hall trade happened.
Oh, was that Ciccarelli or whatever then?
Yeah, that would have been yeah, Peter.
Wait, wasn't
Peter
Hall
Chiarelli.
was it 19 or 18 that Hall got traded? Or 17 even. I don't know.
I thought it was. I'll just look it up. Oh, of course, that's
yeah.
the fucking trade.
I think it was like 2 years
Well-
after McDavid.
Yeah, because McDavid broke his arm or his collarbone, then they played 1 year together and then they traded him. So 2017, I think.
Yeah, it was 2017.
Okay, so it was whatever his name is. The Chiarelli.
2016 technically, so it was the 2016-17 season. But yeah, it was Chiarelli.
Well, then wasn't that
So-
McDavid's rookie year?
No, he was 15-16. Matthews was 16.
No,
17.
they didn't trade him McDavid's rookie year because they thought him and Hall were going to be lights out together.
Yeah.
Probably would be now, which is kind of funny to think about. But
True. Especially with
know,
that deal he just signed, the 3-year by $6 million. Like, that's a killer deal for a past first overall pick for Carolina. Like,
He's,
super cheap.
well,
He's not who he
refigured-
was,
he's
but
no, but he's rejuvenated himself enough in Carolina that he's kind of become a player that you can now go, oh, Taylor Hall's on the ice. He'll probably do something. Right.
Yeah, but he also did that in New Jersey and then fell
That's
off
true.
a cliff again.
Had a brief moment. So I guess like the biggest question for Ken Holland going into LA is, do you just dismantle the team? Like,
no, you can't. They're
Like,
they're stuck.
Somebody messaged me and made a comment about how watch for Darnell Nurse to go to LA because apparently Ken Holland is obsessed with him. So
That would be a dream situation for Edmonton. Although Nurse, I will give him credit. He's been played pretty good in these playoffs, but to get rid of his $9.25 million, that's a big deal.
But then what do you get back? Clark?
I don't know. No. You would probably get Gavrikov back, honestly.
Take Drew Doughty. At least he's on like an expiring deal.
Gavrikov, he's like 6.6. So he's 6 times 6, I think, or something.
Yeah.
So
What a deal. Gavrikov is worth more than Nurse.
maybe.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
if you
I'll
got
say
Nurse in a first, you could probably get Clark or something.
I'll take a solid left-hand Russian defenseman over Darnell Nurse any day.
By
on my
God,
back
that's
end.
Dmitry Orlov's name.
Actually, speaking of that, how many teams are calling Carolina about Nikishin right now, do you think? If he really
probably
wants out.
But I would
You
say
think
maybe
not?
like a couple.
Okay.
I think a couple teams are calling, but I think what Day's gonna say here is exactly what I'm gonna say. So I'll let Day go.
I think he's honestly gonna end up going back to Russia.
Oh, that's not what I was gonna say, but I like that. That's a good take. Why do you think that?
Well, because just the fact that the way like you're a top pick like that, you're a top prospect, and the way you got brought over, got signed, but not really signed.
Didn't even get signed. Yeah.
And then it's just been a waiting game for him. He's probably been put through the ringer in a little bit in his own mind. He's probably kind of in a ways being like, I wonder how easy this would have been if I just would have stayed in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is dumb on this.
He
This
also
is the
doesn't speak
classic
of
case.
English.
True, and this is the classic case of a general manager making a move without the coach's agreement. Right?
Well, because
he
what everybody thought was going to happen was like in the way Tulski kind of, from what I'm assuming and have heard from people, is the idea was to bring Nikishin over and insert him into that top 2, top 4 position, but there was nobody that
Yeah.
Rod wanted to take out. Like,
exactly.
the idea was to take
Which-
Burns out and just deplete his minutes, but they're like, we want Burns to play. So,
And I could. Here's my thought on this too. Rod is the ultimate team guy. Ultimate team guy. What does it do to the group that has battled the entire year together, played together, and then you bring in this guy from Russia and you just kick a guy out of the lineup?
it dismantles
Makes
the
sense for
chemistry.
the Philadelphia. Yeah, it makes sense for the Flyers. It made sense for the Canadians, right? Like they were lower teams and they needed a boost. Carolina plays the system that Rod Brindamore wants them to play. And he's not going to just kick a guy out of the lineup just because they brought in a prospect. I agree with Rod. I mean, I'm happy that he's sticking to his guns because they won 5-2 tonight over the Washington Capitals.
They like, as we can kind of segue into the Canes talk more, like they look like a team right now. I was texting with somebody, an NHL media member, and who was at the game, and like he even said like it's looking like the Canes might actually do it this year. Like if they can beat Washington and the way they're stomping over Washington and shutting down Ovi, they can probably run through Toronto or Florida.
Well, they're getting 30 minutes of offensive zone time game. A game.
Florida,
that's crazy.
I don't think Florida could even handle that if it's Carolina. Like that would make for like a full like 7-game battle series where it's like the battle of the Finns pretty much going at it. But I think Carolina walks out of it, guys. Honestly, I picked them to go to the Cup final, and like, look at this, they're just storming through.
Go. Like, and Carolina's biggest weakness is their net, and they just said, you know what? Let's solve the problem with our goaltending. Let's just not be in our own zone.
Yeah. Well, look at what Slavin's done.
Yeah, he's good.
There's like, he's the whole reason that there's no offensive ice time like over in there. Like you saw him if you watched the game tonight, like he was batting pucks at a midair and getting them out of the zone, and just like he's such a workhorse.
Yeah, he's just, the more he plays this year, the more he cements himself as just the best defensive defenseman in the NHL. I thought maybe there was an argument for Ryan McDonagh being plus 45, and then Ryan McDonagh got exposed versus Florida. So
settle down.
There went that argument. There went that argument. Hey, plus 45, that's a huge deal. And how many of those jerseys behind you said McDonagh 24? Well, only one has a name on it, so. And he's 27, by the way. Who's 20? Oh, Callahan. Shit. Yep. Callie's gone.
Captain for captain trade?
Damn. Sorry, I'm stuck in 2014.
Broadcaster for NHL coach change? Trade?
Yeah, that worked out for St. Louis, kind of, right? In New York, he did good. He propelled them, and then they lost to the Devils, who were a fucking wagon that year, weren't they? Or no, who was the wagon that year?
In what?
It was the final,
wasn't it?
2015. Was it the Flyers? Didn't the Flyers lose to Chicago in the final?
No, that was the Bolts, dude. Was it not?
Oh yeah, Bolts went to the final in 2015 and lost. Yeah, Chicago. Right.
Fucking guy.
Fake fan. Fake fan.
The year that Patrick Kane was the first guy to use LTIR illegally.
So your team learned it right from there. Perfect.
Yeah, and again, we were the only team that voted to eliminate it when they did the vote in the offseason.
What happened?
And then they said, fuck the rules. If this is the way it is, we're going to use it.
Yeah.
And now everybody uses it. Look at Florida. Matthew Tkachuk was not hurt. Not even for a second.
Mic drop. I don't know if the Canes and Cap series is fun to watch, though. It's kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah.
Fair.
Is it
I don't know.
boring or is it perfect? It's perfect hockey from Carolina.
That's
Like
true.
you don't get to see that kind of domination.
Here's the
that
thing,
often.
though, Riley. I don't see messages coming from your end talking about Carolina, Washington. You know what I see? Wham, Kachuk, wham, Bennett, wham,
That's true.
Marchand.
It is a lot of
Hagel.
win.
Why is Hagel not
Hagel.
nominated for a Selkie?
Okay, that was a fair one.
That was a fair one.
He had what 15 more points than Reinhardt, and Reinhardt was what a +6 and Hagel was a +33. Like, why is he not nominated? And I don't even like that it was like I wouldn't wanted it to be 2 Panthers and 2 Lightning. I would be fine if Cirelli wasn't there and Hagel was in over Cirelli. And if it was like
That doesn't make
Barkov,
sense.
Cirelli, and Suzuki, or Barkov, Hagel, and Suzuki, I would accept that.
But why would it be Hagel over Cirelli? That's what I'm trying to understand here.
Okay, because the Selke is the best player that excels on the defensive side. So he had 90 points, where Cirelli only had 56. Cirelli only had 56, and then Hagel was a +33, and Cirelli was only a +31. I don't know.
I hate this argument already.
Okay, but where does that tell you his offensive and defensive side? Because you said it's the best player who plays two ways, right? Yeah. So how does that show?
Well, the
Hagel's...
plus
No.
plus
Technically,
33.
it's the best. Isn't it for the best defensive forward?
It is supposed to be the
You
best,
just
but it's
want the
also like the
definition?
best. I'm pretty sure the definition is the best player that excels in the defensive side of the game. I'm pretty sure is the
Then
definition.
why has there never been
Awarded
a
annually.
defense
The Selke Trophy is the annual NHL award given to the forward who best excels in the defensive aspect of the game.
Just the forward. Okay. It's okay.
Well, the Oilers just scored.
Yeah, who scored this time though? Because let's just talk about them.
Adam Henrique.
Stu Skin?
No,
I got
Evander Kane.
Oh,
Do they have Skinner in it again, or
yeah,
they
do.
smart?
They do.
Oh my god!
They
No,
do.
Pickard's.
They don't have a choice,
Pickard's day to day. Pickard's
He's
day to
hurt.
day.
Okay.
It's the only reason, but it cost them. Yeah, let's jump to that because that was the worst goaltending play I've ever seen.
You can't do that. Free advertisements are not allowed.
What?
Oh, the drink.
Free advertisements are not allowed.
Dr. Pepper, hit us up.
There you go. Good.
Never
the
seen them
Oilers
sponsor
in
a thing
shambles?
in my life. Sorry, are the Oilers what?
In shambles.
No, they're winning 3-0 right now. They're about to go up 3-1 in the series.
So we need to get to the bottom of something though. I was listening to the What Chaos show this morning.
They're good.
And
great podcast.
Something we figured out as a group collectively, and I'll say I was part of it because I was in the chat. Connor McDavid doesn't follow Stuart Skinner on Instagram, but he follows everybody else. But he follows everybody else. So what does that say? If he follows Pickard, but he doesn't follow Stu Skin,
maybe Stu doesn't want him to
they
follow. I don't know. What if Stu is private and he hit follow and Stu hasn't accepted?
Well, the thing is the teammates also follow Stu's wife and their dog account. So
I don't know. Maybe we don't know what goes on.
Guy just pulls out a fucking Dr. Pepper shirt.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's beautiful. Day, you need to get in here. This is a very hot topic right now.
Oh, don't worry, I heard it.
Okay, so what do you make of it?
I think that Stuart Skinner probably just isn't an Instagram guy. Maybe, who knows?
But he is.
Is he?
Go to his Instagram. He is. This is where we do the investigation. So he follows
Skinner Dinner, $18.99. New outfit. Excited to be partnering with Pizza 74. Get your Skinner dinner tonight. Link in bio.
Oh,
can't be
Pizza
reading ad
74.
reads.
Pizza 74. It is up.
Damn it.
Do Gameday Tarps ad reads. No, yeah, I think McDavid hates the guy. I think McDavid says this guy's a sick.
Yeah, there you go.
Why is he on our
my
team?
goodness.
Please let's get him gone.
I
That's
agree.
just
So
hilarious.
we need to
Good-looking
somehow figure this out, because if all the other teammates follow Stu Skin and McDavid doesn't, that says something. It says a lot. So maybe that's why Skinner's rattled. Maybe he's working extra hard now in net so he can earn that follower.
These guys went through all 24, 25 of the teammates to check every single
They
one
went
of
through a
them, or did
handful
they?
of them. They went through a handful
Okay.
of them, yeah.
Oh, a
Because
handful. So
they
every
were like,
teammate.
does McDavid follow Evander Kane? Oh, he does. Does he follow Corey Perry? Yes, he does. Why does he follow Brett Kulak? Oh, he does. But he doesn't follow Stuart Skinner.
We don't know what goes on. What if Stuart Skinner lost a bet and all the boys had to unfollow him? Who knows?
But all the boys follow
McDavid.
him, but McDavid.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
McDavid
thing.
was just like, no, boys, the bet was the bet. He's the captain leading by example.
So anyways, now that we've figured out the reason why the Oilers were in shambles, I don't think you could show that on stream.
You don't think we can show that? He posted that on his Instagram.
That's great. I'm glad you zoomed in on that. We're definitely editing that out.
I can edit that.
You're out of control. 32 minutes.
Did you see that? Wait. Did you see the sign in Edmonton that was up today? Somebody at a bar put up a sign in Edmonton that said, "Go Knights, go 0.04."
Oh, tough.
Yeah, pretty tough, eh? Anyways,
I saw a picture. It was the overhead view of the net, and it said, "I feel like I'm not a rocket scientist or something, but I feel like Stuart Skinner should be somewhere in this picture."
I've seen that too.
He was in the fucking corner.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
can we
real
please talk
talk.
about
Why did
that
he come
now?
out? Why did he come out of the net?
Yeah, just stay on the post.
Like, what are you doing?
Because here's the
Maybe
thing. Here's
that's
the
when
reality.
McDavid unfollowed him.
Here's the reality, though. If Carlson chips that puck in, he beats 3 Oilers to it. He throws the puck out in front. William Carlson. If Carlson dumps it in, beats 3 Oilers to it, throws the puck out in front, 2 of the Oilers' best players dive and get faked out. Stewart stays where he's supposed to, and he gets beat by a shot. It's 100% on the players. 100% on the players. Because he ended up sliding to the corner, it's all on him. And everyone was trying to blame Draisaitl. I was like, the guy was just trying to get something in front of the net. His goaltender was gone.
Now, to be fair, if Draisaitl wasn't standing there, the puck would have missed.
To be fair, if Stuart Skinner was standing there, the puck would have been saved.
That's the riddle. That's like why the chicken crossed the road, except this time it's Stuart Skinner. Why wasn't Stuart Skinner?
Why did Stuart Skinner go to the corner with 1 second left?
Yeah. So, in all reality, I was kind of shocked that they went back with Skinner.
Let's be honest.
They had no choice.
Evander Kane bet on the game for them to lose, and Skinner had to do what he had to do.
That's a good one, actually.
Stuart Skinner to fumble fuck it with 1 second left, plus 10 million.
Kane's just looking at him from the bench like, you better fucking. I got money on the line, man.
Kane's like, I'll sick my ex-wife on you.
Damn.
She's crazy.
Bitches be crazy.
Oh, what's next?
No, but you know what is a problem though? That there's literally a casino in the Oilers arena, dude.
True, we've been there.
We've seen it.
That is a problem.
Did you see Evander Kane pull up to the last game in a Rolls Royce? Good lord.
Yeah. How do you think he got that? Gambling. You
Yo,
don't go from bankrupt to a Rolls Royce.
You're not wrong. While we get close to finishing this up, can we talk about Ace? Yo, can we please just talk about this for a second?
Ace here.
That's definitely a made-up nickname. I hope everybody realizes that.
Oh,
so
it's close enough to be real, though.
But the thing is, from what I learned on the between Merrick and Wish, was that one of his old coaches in Washington used to call him AC. So if you say AC enough, it eventually comes out as Ace, right?
Yeah.
Like eventually you just fuck the words up and it just becomes Ace. So maybe that's where it is. But come on.
I mean, he's probably met like 600 or 700 people in his life, maybe even more, that he knows and has played hockey with. So somewhere along the line, someone could have called him Ace instead of Anson. Anson, like at least Ace. But I mean, part of this is TNT's fault because if you listen to all of them, right, it's like Biz. He goes, "Hey, Marchand, Biz here," and even Wayne.
Hey, Brad, Ace here.
Right? Like he's like, "Hey, Wayne here," right? Like they all announce themselves, right? Even when Talk gets on, right? He's like, "Hey, Talk here." Right, so it's like obviously it's in their contract that they have to introduce themselves before they ask.
Anson Carter doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be like, "Hey guys, Anson Carter here." He just wants to be like, "Hey, Ace here." Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nah,
Because even his first name is just kind of, no offense to him, but it's ugly to say. It's like, "Hey, Anson here. I got a question for you to answer. It's Anson here." Like, terrible. And then what's he gonna say? It's Carter. It's Carter here. Like, no, Ace. I don't mind it, but I just think he's been doing it for like 3 years now, and now just because Heat Daddy finds it hilarious, everyone else is ganging up on the guy.
Yeah, I like how it's taken the hockey media world by storm. You can't really like find a thread where somebody's not going, "Hey, Ace here." It's fucking awesome.
The happy birthday one was terrible though. Happy birthday, Brad. Ace here. You don't have to say it that time, man. Sometimes you can get away without it.
I like the one that Heat Daddy put out where he's like, "Hey, Binner, it's Ace here. How you feeling tonight, dog?" It's like that sounds like somebody would say. It's incredible. So, anyways, we love you, Anson Carter. If you ever want to come on the program, you are more than welcome.
And actually get the Atlanta Thrashers back.
No, don't give them a third team. Fuck out of here.
I will hardcore team swap.
No, I'd rather see a Quebec team. So,
well, who wouldn't want to see the Nordiques come back? But like, I would love to see.
I think the guy in the top left corner named Daeden.
I would or wouldn't.
I don't know. You might not because you're a Montreal fan.
I'd love to see the Nordiques come back.
Oh hell yeah! So there we go. We got the answer from the Frenchie himself.
I'd rather the Nordiques than another team south of the border.
Yeah.
I have a thought on that. One sec.
And then you see the Dallas Stars bust? And then you no, hold on. And then you have 8 Canadian teams, and you're able to make 2 4-team divisions.
Okay.
In each conference, you're saying?
Yeah.
So 8 divisions, 4 in each conference. Yeah. Bingo. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then we go
16
and then you turn away divisions. And then you move away from the wild card format.
Thank God. Go back to 1-8. Good Lord.
Exactly. So you take the top team. You'll have 8 divisions in every conference. So you take the top team in every conference, and then you take the bottom, the next team, and they make the playoffs. Then the bottom 2 in the division sit there and cry about it. Get better. Skill issue.
Fair enough. I feel like the owners wouldn't want that though, because there's going to be a lot of instances where the third team in one division is like better than an entire division. Like this year, it would be like Toronto, Tampa, and Florida were better than like most of the Metro, and they would just be not. One of them wouldn't be in. Like the Florida Panthers would not have been in the playoffs this year with that setup.
I say it again, skill issue.
Yeah, as they absolutely walked Tampa Bay out of Florida. They said you no longer belong to live here.
Maybe there you go.
Well, then be better than the Leafs and Cats.
True, I did actually. Speaking of pictures we saw, there was that one where the guy's holding up the sign that says, "I hope both teams lose." That's me in that series.
That's fair.
I'm cheering for Toronto for the Canadian aspect, but
okay, cool.
That's it.
Cool.
Sorry, the Dallas Stars.
Toronto just needs that Scottish chick at all their games, man. Have you seen that chick? Fuck, she's hilarious. You haven't seen
the drunk.
Yeah. They lost because they couldn't handle these big fucking tits.
Now we go, baby. Anyways, I was just going to talk about how the Dallas Stars on their bus, it says 1 state, 1 team on it. So that's a shot at Houston, saying that Houston's not ever going to get a team because there's only 1 team in the state, and it's Dallas. So I like
and then
that.
a billionaire comes in and says, we want to buy one, and the NHL just signs on the dotted line.
Pretty much. Do you want to talk about Malcolm Spence going to Michigan and Tyson Jugmouth not going to college now? We can talk
That
about
guy,
that.
man. Yeah, I was saying that in the group chat. I was like, first he was in junior, wasn't coming to the WHL for the Blazers, our hometown team. Then he wanted to come to the WHL, but refused to come to the Blazers, got traded to Portland. Then he was going back to college after the reverse decision, was going to Michigan State. Now he's flipped that decision, signed his contract with Seattle to go play pro there next year in Coachella Valley. Like I said to you, what's he going to do? Go to the KHL next? Right when he gets called up to the NHL, his plane's just going to take a detour to Russia? Like,
one-way trip to Moscow.
Make up your mind, kid. He's the full example of using every route to your advantage. He did all of it. No one has done what he did.
Not yet.
This is out of the blue completely, but it's just because you brought up Russia. The Cape Breton Eagles coach this morning said, "See you later. I'm going to the VHL," which is if the listeners don't know, it's the second level league in Russia, but I don't know. But is
it below or above the MHL?
It's KVM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The MHL is like their CHL, isn't it, or something like that? It's like their junior league. Yeah.
I was looking at it earlier.
Well, he's probably getting paid like cash. So.
Probably.
Probably rubies, but you know.
Right on.
USD. But Malcolm Spence is going to Michigan, so good. Congratulations to him. Who else?
And he's going to Nashville.
Man, this DHL is literally getting ruined.
Hold on, I got one more.
One more Russia story?
No, not one more Russia story. Antonin Vero, one of the best players in the QMJHL last year, topped 100 points. He had like 111 points last year. What's that?
Short boy. He's a short king.
Yeah, he signed with, or he didn't sign, but he committed to Quinnipiac with Brady. So that's becoming a hot spot for Q players. And they might be decent.
Yeah, I think I'm all of a sudden thinking it's going to be extremely scary what's about to happen.
There's going to be lots of people. Okay, here, let me read the text I got today. This was from somebody.
The CHL is going to be in shambles, dude. All the good players are leaving.
I said to this person, I'm in the boat where I don't want to see my junior leagues get poached, but I totally understand why players are going to go to the NCAA and go and give this a shot. And I got back from this individual who was a high-ranking media member. Lots are going to go, lots are going to stay, and lots are going to go and come back because they're not going to like it. Junior fans are going to have to get used to it.
I don't know if I haven't heard of a single college guy who committed that hasn't been happy. They might transfer, but they seem to love the university life. The only thing I can see is guys who hate school not wanting to do it. But really, to me, all of a sudden, the WHL has become like a 16 to 17-year-old league, and 18 to 19, 20-year-olds, like as soon as they're...
Unless they're on NHL contracts.
Yeah, unless they're on NHL contracts. But if they're like, oh, I'm not going to be in the NHL until I'm 21 anyways, they're just going to go to college, which has a full program, the facilities, absolute, like, no offense to the Blazers here, but we have a guy who has a small gym downtown that they work out with. Now he's trained Shane Doan, he's trained Peter Mueller, Joe Hickett's, guys like that. But you have that versus a full facility that these teams are building. Like, it's not even a question of
Here's
where
another
I
thing.
would want to go.
You're going to be getting all of these transfers and all these players wanting to go to NCAA, but the roster size doesn't change, meaning there's going to be layover and there's going to be or overflow, I should say, with kids that aren't A, good enough, or B, just not at that level yet, and they have to come back to the CHL. So there's going to be times where the players go and do come back, maybe because they don't make the team or whatnot, but I don't think it's going to be the CHL is probably going to lose a lot of their top end 17s and then some 18, 19-year-olds, but I think it'll still be the same as it is.
It's not going to be as detrimental as some people think it's going to be. If anything, all it's going to do is just open up the pipeline more and allow for players like the younger players, like the leagues that are going to get hit are the USHL and stuff like that. They're going to get fucking decimated because all these players are going to want to come to the WHL or OHL or Q, play in these top end leagues where there's all these other superstar kids because they're not old enough to go to college yet, and play there for their year and then transfer to college. Like that's what's going to happen here. Like that's why like top end talents like Cruz Armstrong, for example, like Colby Armstrong's kid, he's likely going to go play in Seattle before he goes to college. So it makes sense that a lot of these kids are going to go do that. And
that makes sense now. He's joining at 16 when he can.
You look at a guy like Macklin Celebrini. If he would have had this option 3 years ago, he could have came and played for Seattle during their Memorial Cup run in that year, and then still gone on and played for BU.
That would have been disgusting. Celebrini on the Thunderbirds. That would have been.
He would have been 6. He would have been 16 then.
That would have been disgusting.
Yeah, so like that's what's going to happen. I don't think like the league's going to lose a lot of top end guys. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be like it's a league that's going to get watered down by anything. Like there's still going to be talent. Like Maddox Schultz and Landon DuPont are still going to be there for 3 years.
No, Ryley, the QMJHL will not be a junior B league. It's okay.
Yeah, Ryley thinks Gavin McKenna can get 200 points in the Q. So
in the Q, yes, I'm not backing down from that.
Yeah,
Colton, don't tell me he wouldn't get 30 or 40 more points if he played in the Q this year.
He probably would.
Yeah, and what did he finish with?
But like what do you mean? He finished with
144? No, wasn't it 140 something?
Well, no, he went on his streak was 137 points during his 54 games.
Yeah, but his season totals were
41 goals, 88 assists, so whatever that is.
Oh, okay. So 120 something.
I
thought he was I thought he was at like 137, 145.
No, but like you take out the games that he missed. Like he missed 12 or 11 games, like I said earlier, for the World Juniors. Like,
and he would have played 4 less because the Q season is 4 games shorter.
Yeah, but they have 4 teams that are. They have 4 teams that are borderline replacement level, so he would have had 10 points a game with those teams every game.
And Daeden's now gonna argue with you.
We were arguing for like an hour this morning. That was hilarious.
I was in the middle of class, and the guys were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude's shitting on the Q."
I was, man. You guys produced like the top end kid. And then you guys have like the worst 5 teams at the bottom of your league in all the CHL.
Right. But I mean, it's fairly the same through every junior league. And if you take those bottom teams and scatter them through the other junior leagues, they would do just as well or just as poorly, I think.
I don't know. Because I think Medicine Hat is in a division. Hold up, let me finish this. Is in a division with like Calgary Hitmen, Edmonton Oil Kings, right? Are they with? Yeah, they're with Brandon Wheat Kings, Swift Current, right? Isn't that their division? No, they're just in Alberta.
No, Lethbridge would be in there.
Lethbridge, I forgot about Lethbridge, and Medhat. But that division was pretty competitive this year in the WHL, and the way the WHL works is you play the majority of your games in division, and then you play the other teams like twice a year. So, really, if he was in like the division in Quebec and he was playing those teams on rotation, he would be murdering some of those lower level teams.
Somebody call up Brady Schultz. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Get him on the call right now.
Hey, Halifax made the playoffs, and they were the lowest point total of anyone in the entire CHL to do so by a large margin.
I think Kelowna is like the worst team in the league, right? So you think they would beat the worst team in the Q, which was what? Like Ruin Miranda or something like that? What was the worst team in the Q?
In the Q, it was Victoria or St. John's or St. John.
Yeah.
Where's that thing I did where it was
Daeden's not
guys
wrong
keep
that the Q wins the Memorial Cup. Like,
Yeah, I know. They bring a fantastic. Their top team and their top players are top, but their bottom teams and bottom players are bottom.
Ryley
Right.
wants relegation.
Sorry, the worst team in the CHL was Moose Jaw. Throw that in there. Then
They still lost
Victoriaville.
first overall pick.
Then Victoriaville.
Shows you how
Regina,
rigged it was.
Kelowna, and then St. John. So three WHL teams were worse than even St. John's. But as you get going up, like, okay, Halifax made the playoffs. They came 53rd in points in all the CHL. 53rd of 60, and they made the playoffs.
Daeden's winning.
And then look what they did. Look what they did in the playoffs.
I know they did a great thing. That just tells you how bad the best team in the Q was.
No, but they weren't even the best team in the Q.
You're right. They were fourth best or something. Who'd they beat again? Drummondville?
Drummondville.
Yeah, they were 15th overall in the CHL.
Then what happened?
And they got
Oh,
swept.
then Moose got swept by Rouen-Noranda because Rouen is way better.
Yeah.
The
I said
19th
Rouen.
ranked
That was
team.
one of the worst teams in the league. Oops.
No.
Okay. I'm
All
not
I'm
shitting on
saying,
them that bad.
all I was trying to get out of earlier is that if you put Gavin McKenna up against a team, Buddy, the guy in the tweet said that Gavin McKenna would get broken in half. He would not get broken in half, but if you take a team like Moncton and put them up against Medicine Hat, they are going to take away your time and space so much quicker than Spokane does, and Gavin McKenna would not have a inch to move out there.
Quicker than Spokane? Spokane's better than any Q team.
It only took Spokane one game to figure out how to fucking lock that kid down. But
Yeah,
still.
okay.
But then now he has a chance to adapt. We'll see what happens.
I think that matchup though, like you're gonna see it, so we'll see it. Like it's gonna be like there's no way we don't see Medicine Hat and Moncton, right? Right?
I think we're seeing it.
I hope we see it.
There's no way Spokane wins this, because if they do, you know where McKenna's going? Fucking to college. So
Pretty much. Where? What's the series? I don't even know.
1-1.
Nothing.
1-1. Yeah, 1-1
Do they
Six
play
two
tonight?
last night.
tomorrow.
They play tomorrow.
They play the next
2
three
days.
in Spokane. Weird.
Oh, right. It's the weird.
2-3-2.
And you know what else is weird too? The league decided, because your guys' cities are less than 1,000 kilometers away, you guys can bus.
That's nasty.
Halifax was taking a plane in the first
The
round.
media for the WHL and the TSN guys are all flying in a fucking TSN jet together, while all the players and coaches have to bus.
That's evil. Talking about playoff format. This is old now, but did anyone else see that the AHL, each division gets to pick their playoff format?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. Yeah, each division, they get to pick. So, like, in some divisions, only one division was normal, where it was, like, all 4 seeds, right, and then advance normally. One was one first team got a bye. One was 2 teams get a bye. And it was just, like, randomness. Just randomness.
Yeah, when I was talking
Craziness.
when I was talking to Minton on the phone, because Providence was playing Charlotte last week when I talked to him, and he was saying that they played a 5-game series, and then they were for their first round, and then this one was a best of 7. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the first round of the AHL is always 5. It's always 5.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But
maybe the second
the division
5 too,
alignment is weird. It's weird, the division alignment. It's because the AHL starts later than the NHL, so they eliminate 2 games in the first round, and then the second round start at like the exact same time. It's a weird. Why don't they just start the AHL? I guess because the way that the roster makeup is, and guys don't get dropped. But they catch up the AHL season in the first round of the playoffs rather than cutting 2 games off everyone's schedule in the regular season. Doesn't make sense to me, but wacko stuff out of the AHL.
The Oilers are having themselves
Laval
a
Rocket are winning the cup.
Who?
Laval Rocket.
Oh yeah, they
Ever
could.
heard of them?
They're good. They're good.
So one more time for the viewers.
Dude, get that out of here.
Go Leafs, go. we'll be back for what, round 3?
We will definitely be back for round
The Leafs
3, and we
won't be.
might have some guests in between. Oh, geez. Nasty.
Wow.
Come on. Okay, I said this in the chat. You guys cannot complain a Canadian team doesn't win if you cheer for them to be eliminated.
I don't care about a Canadian
But
team winning
it's
a
because the
Stanley Cup.
wrong Canadian teams are in the playoffs right now.
You don't get to pick. It's either cheer for the Canadian teams or don't cheer for the Canadian. I would be cheering for Tampa if they were in, but they're not. So I'm cheering for all the Canadian teams, and I hate Toronto.
But you wouldn't cheer for
cheering
Florida, like how Dak wouldn't cheer for Edmonton and Day wouldn't.
I cheered for Florida last year in the playoffs.
What? Bandwagon end the episode.
Yeah, so let Florida do what Tampa does and win 2 in a row.
No, because then they've gone to 3 cups in a row too, and that's just.
Oh, here we come. Here come the excuses.
That's just not okay.
Wait, one thing on Florida. What'd you think of the Domi hit?
From behind?
Yeah.
Should have been suspended.
Well, he got fined for it.
He's not getting anything, is he? Yeah, he just got fined.
He's getting fined.
You spelled it wrong.
I just spelled it wrong. Now we got to delete that too.
Jesus.
No, we don't.
Nah, that's fine. Good.
I'm I don't know.
What?
I just got to get rid of all this. This is just a mess.
As Claude
All right,
Giroux would say, you're a pigeon. So
pretty much. Jeez. All right,
you seen the clip?
Yeah,
He
see
calls
this
JGR
all.
the pigeon? Dude, it's the best clip ever.
Okay, we're gonna cut the last minute, and I'm gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
All right, everyone. That pretty much wraps up episode 61 of the Gameday Tarps podcast. As always, subscribe, like the video, follow us on social media, and we'll see you in episode 62 of the Gameday Tarps podcast.